Gosh, it's another fabulous morning here at Blackacre Ranch, guys. Perfect weather. The weather's finally chilled. We got a storm last night and things are looking great. Things got cold. We're kind of in the 60s and 50s. This morning it was in the 40s. And for us, that's actually kind of cold. We haven't had fall show up yet. We've been breaking highs recently. But anyway, out in pasture 7, we now have the buffalo over on this side. You'll see that little mound hill where the dead tree is. That is stuff we just mowed. That was stuff that was kind of overcome with a lot of, well, weeds, right? And I mowed everything else and everything like that. So now you'll also notice there's a tractor behind me and I have not moved it in about 3 days. That's because when I mowed pasture 7, we kind of had some issues. We ran ourselves into a little bit of a problem. So what was going on was, as I'd mow and this thing kind of digs down deep for a torque thing, like if I downshifted, things like that, it would just bog down. You know, the RPMs would start dropping, it would start kind of chugging a little bit, struggling, but then it would kind of get back to normal. Sometimes it got bad enough that the warning light on the dash even started showing up saying stop, and then the PTO light would flash and everything else like that. So you kind of just start thinking, oh crap, I got tractor problems. What am I gonna do? Well, so I went online after I finished. You know, I probably kept mowing more than I probably should, but I went online and started checking what could be possible solutions. And it isn't that bad. Now, first I thought, well, it's not getting fuel, which I've got tons of fuel. If it is a fuel problem, it'd be a filter problem. Spark doesn't exist because it's diesel. And air, I checked the air filters and they were fairly clean. I cleaned them anyway. So it really just, to me, was a fuel filter. So the fuel filters are right down here on the side of the tractor. There's the glass for it down here. Here's the filter itself. This is the bleed screw and the little bleed pump. You pump it and everything else like that. Well, so I thought, well, my gas fuel is getting pretty low over there, and I was wondering, well, did I have water in the fuel or something like that maybe? And I came over and looked at this and it didn't have any. So right here at the bottom, this is where it collects all the water, the lowest spot, and I can just unscrew that and drain it out. Well, it didn't have any issues like that. So I thought, well, it's got to be a filter. I thought, what if I check the codes? Put it in the on position and you hold this little button here for 3 seconds, and it says none. So before, that would flash different codes, 157.01, and I think one was an 1880.01, which was a PTO thing. So really what kind of came down to it was I had some sort of a fuel blockage. You couldn't get enough fuel. And so when that was happening, the PTO was struggling, and it noticed that the PTO wasn't operating at the optimal speed, so the PTO codes were flashing, something's going on, and anyway, I kind of freaked out. Long story short, there is the fuel filter I showed you, which is right down here, which inside has a clear bowl of red. So I knew it wasn't fuel. I didn't have a spare fuel filter, so I ordered some and a whole oil change kit and everything I'm gonna have to get done later on. But then somebody told me that there's a secret filter, a fuel screen also in the tank, and that can get clogged. So in the back of the tractor, here's the fuel tank, and there are different ports. Now, nobody else has shown this on a 5075E, but there is a drain port right there where you can drain all the fuel out. You've got a little clamp, you loosen the clamp and you unscrew that steel bolt from the plastic. The clamp is to make sure the plastic doesn't split, but you drain all the fuel out. Then up front behind the seat, there's a spot right there, which is not it. And then there's a spot way down here, that's it. So what you have is, you do that last one, you pull out that bolt, and on it is like a screen this big, and you can spray it and clear it, and mine was so gunked up that when it needed more fuel, it just couldn't get it. So if you're ever wondering, when your tractor is starting to struggle and it has decreased power and all that other stuff going on, what your solution could be, it could be that screen. So it's been sitting here and waiting for me to go mow again. So that's what we're gonna do today at Blackacre Ranch. I'm gonna go mow the 2.5 acres. Well guys, this is it, the 2.5 acres. Now I'm gonna have to come up with a different name for these pastures because we're gonna be working some different things, removing fences, adding some other things, and so this whole naming convention is gonna go away, and this is just a descriptive term, and it's about 2.5 acres, which is why it got its name, but it's gonna have to change. We're gonna be doing something different, but I have got to mow through this, and you can tell it's pretty darn high. Just from the grasses here, they're about chest level. I'm 6'3". So, I mean, stuff has got to change. This stuff is just crazy. There's a lot of stuff that happened when it was logged. And it's bad enough doing this section because in such a small 2.5 acre area, you have these hills and then other hills and just ups and downs a lot. And it gets tricky trying to get the tractor in and out of everything without hitting stumps. Well, now that we've logged, they took out some trees and now the stumps are hidden. I don't know where they are. I can only go from memory, which is so much. And I've got to get in there and try and see what I can do without hitting excess logs on the ground, which are where they shouldn't be, which they never were before. But it happens. There's debris in there now and stumps that I got to try and remember. So all of this mowing is just kind of, I don't know, it's not been what I've been looking forward to. I'll just say that. Bad enough mowing it as it is, not with all the other obstacles. So anyway, let's just get to it, start mowing and see what it looks like. I forgot I need to open the gate. Oh, shit. Let's see if that works. Holy cow. All right, this is it, sitting in the tractor. This stuff is thick. It's nasty. I don't intend to get off this tractor unless I absolutely have to, so hammering this is gonna be skint. We're gonna see how we do. 5075E with my beat up E12. We'll see what we get done. I kind of reorganized myself to kind of get into that corner as much as I can. Now when I mow, I like to mow starting at the top side and kind of cut my edging because there's a ridge right here. Right where these tree saplings are, you can see. You can't maybe. But if I was to go down the hill, it's all the way to the far side. So I go down, cut the fence line, and go there, and then come back. This is where it gets really crazy, too many hills, and there's a big hill right here. So that's what I gotta watch for. Some big stump somewhere over here on the right, and then there you can see the gate, and this is the downward spot on the hill. I've tried magnetizing this and putting it somewhere in the tractor, but my swivel, it just keeps swiveling off. And with it being so new and such a stress with all this stuff mowing, I'm gonna have to come back after I kind of get things going, and then I'll fill you in on the details.
uneven log right there. See if you can move it. Keep coming. Gotta go down. Down. Okay. Push it. Okay, up. Okay, good. Okay, we also have one right up there. Okay, good. All right, you're on the stump. Okay. Right here. So there's the stump. He's about to run over. We gotta get this out of the way. There you go. And this is the stump he was trying to avoid. Let's go check out this stump. Trying to turn around down here is pretty tight. Oh, there's a big stump in this pile too. Oh goodness. Yeah, that wasn't gonna come out. Thing's thick.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that guy. He didn't grow straight.
No.
This is intense. Like some of these, I know I've been going over a few of these big guys, but there's more in there. I'm not gonna do all of them. We're just gonna come back with a chainsaw or something. But man, they're tall.
kind of nervous. We got a stump there and a stump right there. So I think he knows about them the way he's coming in at this. We'll see, because it could be all bad. So we're at this big stump here, and the ants are not happy with us. So Jeff just came around this low spot and found this huge tree. He's like, it fell over, and I was looking at it. It looks like it's a remnant of the logging where they had cut it down but left it. Whether they took the bottom and left the top, I don't know. But it's kind of in the way, so we'll have to clean that up later.
All right, guys, so this is so far it. I got tired of just mowing trees, I'll be honest. So I got most of it. I had a general recollection of all the spots for trees. And you start getting that little spidey sense going when you're like, it's around here somewhere. And then boom, you hit it with a tire, or you just ran over it and you're like, oh crap, hurry up and pull the mower, that kind of stuff. But I have some oak trees that I'm trying to save, because I realize that every tree in here is a junk tree I don't want. Those 3 trees are all that we really have left that are really big, and one's an oak and 2 are pines. The other big one that had been a pine over there died, and they're really big, so I'm afraid they're going to start dying. So what I'm trying to do is let some trees grow. So I've got those 2 oaks that I'm going to let grow up. I've got a big oak tree kind of going yellow over there. I'm just trying to take away all these sweet gums like this. Like, these are the root balls I'm pulling out of the ground and mowing out. Those things are huge. Like, I've got big hands. I can't even get like halfway around this thing. But they grow really weird in the ground. So we have grass because we dumped a bunch of bales down here once to feed some animals. But see, this is, man, I didn't even see this guy. See that guy? Mower came right here as I bent the corner. I think I bumped him. I felt something, but I didn't see it. Went down this backwards just in case, and then pulled up forward. So I came back by where Charlotte is and then forward out there, just because I didn't want to hit more trees again. This gets crazy, and this gets, this is that hill berm. I could do it. It gets erosion spots, and I can't see those really well right now. And with all the trees, I didn't care to do it. So I have left this so far. I do want to come back with a chainsaw probably at some point and just kind of thin this out. The main issue over here was, this is the top of that tree I think Charlotte showed you. It starts right up here and comes all the way down. Big stump that they had taken a tree. I don't know what that is. I think that's an oak, so I'll leave that. But you can see here's a nice path animals or erosion have done. And so, I mean, there's ways up here, but I just haven't done it yet. There's a stump over here, which ended up, those stayed for now. There's trees over here, and then there's trees back behind. Anyway, there's little things. I just didn't have the heart to do this with my mower. I felt bad. I mean, these things are how tall?
It's like 12 feet. That's like double your height.
Yeah. But they're only like an inch,
Yeah.
2 inches thick.
Yeah, so skinny.
I don't know. I was just done mowing trees. I couldn't do it anymore. So this takes another path up, but there is a stump at the top up here. Anyway, so it's like where I know there's a stump, and I'm just being selective, and with all the trees I'm fighting, I just couldn't do it anymore. We're done. This is the acreage. And then it goes up around where you saw Charlotte was filming me a bunch. That hill, down, uphill, But in the middle, we got a lot of grass, which is good. Well, it's green foliage on the ground. There is grass. Like,
check this out. Some thick stuff.
I mean, that is grass. This is the mowing of 2.5 acres. We've got a little bit more work to do on it, but at least it kind of gets it manageable where you can kind of see, you can kind of get excited about it. You don't feel so discouraged just thinking about it. And then it bowl right there and goes up the hill again. And big old stump over here. So this is a very irregular pasture and the hills make it crazy. So I apologize not being able to get a lot from the tractor seat, but I needed my attention driving. So, all right, well, this is 2.5 acres. Ideally in the future, this is where I would want the animals to winter. So when the grasses kind of go dormant and we have some hay, we would stick them in here. I'm looking to expand this a little bit, make it a little bigger, but I think for now, this is where we're gonna have them winter. So, all right, guys, the E12 batwing mower did really, really well. Only stalled the tractor once, and the tractor did really well. So cleaning out that screen is really what made it run a lot better, 100% better. So if you ever have any of those issues, loss of power all of a sudden, this, that, and the other, especially when the demand gets tough, check your screen in the fuel tank. It's not necessarily your fuel filter. So, all right, I'm gonna call it quits. I'm gonna go eat. It's Thanksgiving today. Happy Thanksgiving. Remember to be grateful, but more importantly, remember to be grateful for what you have as you hit Christmas season, so you're not so me focused and what do I get, what do I get. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. See you at Blackacre Ranch. Bye.